Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into something I think a lot of you are going to love your pets.
Yeah.
Specifically, keeping those furry friends happy and healthy right here in Ventura, California.
Sounds good.
We're looking at an excerpt today from Ventura, California, Veterinarian Care, a comprehensive pet health guide for coastal California pet owners in Ventura, California. It's a bit of a mouthful, but
Yeah.
it's got some seriously interesting insights, even for those of you who think you've got Ventura Pet Care all figured out.
Oh, it's true. It's such a unique environment,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
pet care here, it really has its own set of special considerations, things you might not have to worry about if you lived, say, more inland.
Exactly. I was thinking about that. Like, we all know the beach is fun for dogs,
That's
right?
for sure.
But this guide, it gets into some of the risks you might not think about right away. Things like, I don't know, sand getting irritated, or even, get this, the effects of the marine layer.
Really?
I had no idea fog could actually impact a dog's skin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That dampness, it can make some skin conditions worse, especially for breeds that are like prone to allergies or have sensitive skin.
Oh, interesting.
And then you got to think about the salt water, too. I mean, that stuff can be incredibly drying, for their skin and paws.
Wow. Okay, starting to rethink those impromptu beach trips with my pup now.
Yeah.
So the guide, it really emphasizes finding a vet who truly understands, that like Ventura lifestyle. What does that actually mean when we're talking about vets?
Well, it means finding a vet who's not just looking at the symptoms,
Right.
but who gets like the bigger picture, someone who really knows the specific challenges that come with our environment here, whether that's, all that sand and salt water we were talking about, or running into local wildlife, or even, something like those crazy Santa Ana winds.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of those winds, I remember the guide mentioned that they can stir up like all kinds of allergens and irritants.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's not just us humans who are miserable when those winds kick up.
Right. No, absolutely. Pets with, sensitive respiratory systems, they can have a really hard time. And that dry air, it can dehydrate them super fast, especially if they're out being all active and stuff.
It's wild.
Yeah.
This guide is seriously making me rethink my whole approach to my dog's care. It's not just the basics.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the specific risks that come with living in this, beautiful but sometimes pretty challenging environment.
You got it. And that's where, having a vet who really knows Ventura, that's where they become crucial. They can help you navigate all those risks and figure out a care plan that makes sense for your pet, based on their needs and their lifestyle.
So finding the right vet, that's like step one. But what else can Ventura pet owners do to be like proactive about this stuff?
Well, the guide talks about emergency preparedness, which I think
Okay.
is super important.
I've got like a first aid kit for my dog, but honestly, I hasn't thought too much about like actual emergency scenarios.
Yeah, I get that. But, you got to think, what if, your dog has a run-in with a stingray at the beach or gets stung by a jellyfish? I mean, you got to know where to go, who to call. Are there 204/7 emergency vets in Ventura?
That's a really good point. Things you wouldn't necessarily think about if you weren't, right here on the coast.
Exactly. Or even, something that seems simple, like running into a skunk.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what to do if your dog gets sprayed? These are like classic Ventura situations, and a local vet can help you be prepared.
That's honestly a relief to hear. I feel like I'm learning so much already just from this excerpt. It's making me think about the big picture of like Ventura pet care,
And that's exactly what we want. It's about shifting your mindset from just reacting to problems to getting ahead of things and managing your pet's health in this unique environment.
So we touched on the beach, those Santa Ana winds. What other Ventura-specific challenges does this guide get into?
Well, one thing that really stuck out to me was how they talked about all the wildlife we have here in Ventura.
Oh, yeah. We've got everything from, seagulls to coyotes running around.
Yeah.
And those can be like some pretty unique risks for our pets that you don't really think about.
Right. Yeah, I remember reading about what to do if your dog gets bitten by a rattlesnake
Oh.
or, tangles with a skunk.
Oh, for sure.
Those are definitely not your everyday vet visit.
Exactly. And it's not just about knowing how to deal with the immediate injury, right?
Right.
It's also understanding like the long-term stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Some of those encounters can lead to, infections or complications that need like ongoing care.
It makes you realize that vets here in Ventura, they must have a whole other level of expertise compared to, like a vet in the Midwest or something.
Absolutely. They're dealing with such a different set of, like, challenges and a different ecosystem.
Right.
A whole different set of threats to pets, really.
So it's not just finding a vet, it's about finding one who's like specifically equipped to deal with, the Ventura landscape. You said it. And this guide even talks about how some vets here specialize in certain areas, like dermatology.
So that makes sense.
Which makes total sense when you think about all the sand and salt water our pets are dealing with.
Right. Like, I bet there are also vets who specialize in, like, treating injuries from active outdoorsy pets, which,
Oh, total.
let's face it, is pretty much every dog in Ventura.
You got it. It's all about recognizing that Ventura pet care, it's not just the basic stuff. It's about understanding how our environment affects our pet's health.
Yeah. And speaking of nuances, the guide also mentions, like, breed-specific concerns.
Oh, right.
I didn't even thought about that before.
Right. Certain breeds are just, like, better suited to a coastal climate than others.
Hmm.
Like dogs with those thick double coats,
Yeah.
they might overheat way easier here where it's warm and humid. And then you've got, like, brachycephalic breeds. Those are the ones with the short, flat noses.
Right.
They can have a really hard time breathing in humid conditions.
So even choosing the right breed can be affected by living in Ventura. It's all connected.
It really is. It just goes to show how important it is to do your research before you bring a pet home,
Yeah.
Talk to a local vet. Think about your lifestyle and how Ventura's climate might affect a certain breed.
Okay, so we've got the environment, the wildlife, the breed considerations.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else Ventura pet owners should be thinking about?
Well, the guide mentions something that I think a lot of people forget about, and that's the, like, emotional well-being of pets.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. Ventura is all about being outdoors, being active,
Yeah.
which is awesome for dogs who love to be on the go. But it's super important to make sure your pet's actually enjoying all that activity,
Right.
and not getting too overwhelmed or stressed by all the, like, hustle and bustle of beach life.
That's a good point. You
Yeah.
just assume that if a dog loves the beach, then they're happy,
Yeah.
But like you said, there's a whole other level to it.
Right. And that's where paying attention to your pet's personality is really key.
Yeah.
Just like us, some dogs love a high-energy environment, and others need some quiet time to chill out.
It's like we have to remember their mental and emotional health is just as important as their physical health.
Exactly. And that's another thing a Ventura vet can really help you with.
All right.
They can help you see those signs of stress or anxiety and figure out a good balance for your pet's needs.
So it sounds like Ventura pet care is about more than just one thing, right?
Totally.
It's the climate, the wildlife, your dog's personality.
It really is. It's about realizing that our pets are living beings who are totally connected to their environment.
Right.
And, that environment happens to be this awesome but sometimes tough coastal city we call Ventura.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
As we wrap up this deep dive, what are the main takeaways for our listeners? What's the most important thing you want them to remember?
I think the biggest thing is that Ventura pet care, it's like a whole different way of thinking. It's not just about, going to the vet once a year for a checkup and shots.
Yeah.
It's about having a vet who's like on your team, someone who gets what it's like to have a pet in this, coastal environment.
It's about working with them, not just expecting them to fix things after they go wrong.
Exactly. It's about getting ahead of things, being proactive, and really understanding how everything connects,
Yeah.
The environment, our lifestyles, how our pets are doing. It's all connected.
So it's like Ventura pet owners. They need a whole different playbook, right?
Yeah, kind of. The rules are just different here. We have different weather, different wildlife, different things we like to do with our pets.
Yeah.
It all changes how we need to care for them.
This deep dive has definitely made me see things in a new way. I'm looking at Ventura differently now, not just the fun stuff like the beach, but like the everyday things that affect my dog.
And that's the cool thing about learning, right? It helps us make better decisions for ourselves and our furry friends.
Okay, so to wrap things up for everyone, if you've got a pet in Ventura or you're thinking about getting one, remember that this awesome city, it comes with its own set of things to think about when it comes to pet care.
Do your research, find a vet who really gets Ventura, and just be proactive, Think ahead, and most importantly, get out there and enjoy all the cool stuff Ventura has to offer with your furry friend.
Because, let's be honest, Ventura dogs have it pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Ventura pet care. We'll see you next time when we explore something else totally fascinating.